アンセムこれはアンセム。投票。これどういうゲームなのか全く知らないんですけど、RPG なのかな。なわけないな。どういうゲームなんだ。動かせんのこれ。あ、動いてる。なんか持ってる。FPS なんだ。で、今船に乗っている。あおい、めくれめくれ。
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
おい、早い。ストーリー何もわかんなかったんだけど。
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
それで家が彼を飲み込んでしまった。謎解きゲーこれアンセムの拠点なんだけど。ちょっと。あ、これバツ、あれか。はい。クレスや SE、ダイヤルピースのした。何の説明もなしに始まってる。マジでアンセムなんだけど。
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
家の半分は地理が見る。ガチャ。
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago.
なんか説明を書いてくんないかな。
Open
郵
immediately.
便券の中には重要支給開封されて7年前。はい。ああ。
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
初めてだ。ガチャ。お腹出てんな。この粉。妊婦さん
In her will, my mother left me a key, but
入院
didn't
決
tell
心
me
母
what
さ
it
んが鍵を
unlocked.
残しているところが切るのかわからない。ドアじゃないん
Maybe
です
she
か。
thought I'd know. Or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
謎解きゲーか。センスが問われますね。止まった。マジでアンセムやってる。ちょっと、アンセムやるつもりじゃなかった。待って。
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
でも地図の中からいくつか。道こっちで合ってるんですか？お家の方行くならあそこ左だと思います。なんかいる。よ。
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
ついちゃった。さっきのとこ左曲がったらどうなんだろう。まあいいや。左曲がったらこっちから来るのかな。車。もうちょっとモデリングどうにかならなかった。
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
夢で見たのと同じ。いいお家住んでますね。いいかこれ。なんか上に乗ってるのと。
The house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
17歳。
I heard something moving around in the garage.
怖い。ホラーゲームもしかして。やめてよ、僕ホラー嫌いなんだけど。いいお家ですね。
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond.
ドラゴン。
She said it had killed her husband.
たけしとホラゲー。
I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
たけしはホラーゲー嫌いなんですか？やばいな、このゲームは。怖そう。
確か嫌いです。
たけしにこのゲームやらせるか。あ、たけし PS4 持ってないのか。バグらないかな。マジでこの移動がアンセムすぎてちょっとイラつく。イラチ。ガチャ。
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
甘かった。ですよね。ガチャ。
アンセムウォーク。
I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
そう。で、こっちから行けと。ポンポンポンポンポンポン。こんにちは。そっから入んの？
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
よほど簡単だったっけ？セーブ中。なんかマジで怖くなってきたんだけど。
The power had been turned off
神
the
経ずい
night
ぶ
we
ん取り上げ
left.
ていた。ガチャガチャ。なんか謎解きだよな。さすがにホラーではない。雰囲気でかわいい。 ガチャ。
For the first time in years.
久しぶりに。何？ガチャ。
I felt like I was home.
家にいる気分がした。そうですか。
But instead of a family, there were
家
just
族の代わりに
memories
ある
of
のは
one.
記憶の抜け殻。こんな状態で家放置されてんの？
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of
リス
eating
が完全
salmon.
こうで
Except our
ね。
cat,
みんな
Molly.
だってさっきのね、
Nothing in the house looked abnormal.
変なと
There
ころ
was
になっ
just
た。
too
目が
much
あ
of
りす
it,
ぎるという
like a
ことで
smile with too many teeth.
内側から開けれないのか。こんな家ある？
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that
あの
last
夜の
night.
混乱の中、たくさんのものが取り残された。
例えが全然意味わからなくて服。
海外のセンスなのか。歯の多い笑顔。心地か？なんで家に誰もいなくなったのかを考えるゲームかな。
The table was still a wreck from the night we
テーブル
left.
のままテーブルは散らかっていた。どうして去ることになったのかを考える、そういうゲームですね。わかりました。これ実写だよな。出れない。出れる。
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the
ス
bricks
トーリーがあ
came
った。
from the
イーリー
original
によると
house
沈んだ最初
after
の
it
人
sank.
間がで最初のなんか入ってった。おい、俺はサンタだ。これ煙どこ？ああ、左か。どこ行けばいいんですか？こっちか。缶詰多すぎだろ、さっきの。上か、地下か、この扉か。地下から行きます。ね、これ。ガチャ。俺。
Great Grandpa Sven built a
い
music
いお
box
じいちゃ
for
んのスベ
Barbara.
ンはバーバラのためにオルゴールを作った。
Along with the rest of the house.
そして家の中の上には
Mom always told me to stay out of the
お母さん
basement,
は私に
so I
通
wasn't
知して
too
早けど
surprised
口を
when
はま
the
な
key
くて
didn't
も驚
fit.
かなかった。はい。
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
書庫のどこかに埋められている。行くしかないじゃん。
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
すべて封
Then
印した。
Edie retaliated and drilled
そ
peepholes.
れにイーリーは反発の大きな穴を開けた。
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
7年間死んだ人と過ごす。怖いな。 この子か。
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
封印。このゲーム配信向けのゲームではないな。ガチャ。
The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
うん。うわぁ。なにこれ。なにこれ。こんにちは。
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
そうなんだ。
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
後悔したね。なんか役。
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never
どうした
believed
新鮮
him.
ツールがね、私はそれ信じる。あ、待って、待って、待って、待って、待って言ってんだろ。ガチャ。
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
やば。押すのね。
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
待って、待って、まだ言ってないところあるっす。ちょっと。
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
ちょっと待ってね。ちょっと待って。おい。出るのに。
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
わあ、昔話になった。すげえ。これ名前とか覚えとかないと何もわかんないじゃん、このゲーム。どうしよう。クリストファー。
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
あ？サイコパスか、この表情。私お腹空いたわ。お魚さん食べちゃおう。
I ate a lot of things that night.
たので、何この子は監禁でもされてるの？ネズミ
The
の
gerbil food was dry,
さ
but I
それ
didn't
でも
mind it.
ネズミの餌食って。お腹空いててもそれはちょっと。
My Halloween candy was all gone.
うさぎさん。
Mom, can I come out now?
もうそういえばいい子だからもう寝なさい。
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
そしたらまだですね、鳥の声です。
It was a barn swallow going back to
すぐ
her
帰ろうとし
nest.
ているゾロアネさん。
I I reached out for her. And suddenly,
いきなりええ。
I was a cat.
猫になってたのじゃないんだよ。ええ。屈伸できるわけではない。この猫挨拶できるのか。あ、
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
待ってー。なんだこのゲーム。待て。
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
待って、ちょっと見ちゃう。
Now I was up in the
大きな
big
木が
tree.
見えたわ。
I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
鳥を食べたくてしょうがなかった。昔はあんな上に家がたくさん建ってたわけではない。ポンポン。
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl.
あ、
First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
BF の爆撃機だ。操作説明くらい、ちょっと、文字、何も見えないけど。うさぎさん。あ、何も取ってないか？
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit.
どこだよ。どこだ。おー。
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Oh. なんで動き
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seeds. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
とっても美味しかったな。
I grabbed on tight, opened my eyes, everything had changed.
キモ、チンコやん。おっと。音がキモい。おちんちん。うおー。移動がむずい。
Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
人間の匂いがプンプン。
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
I やばいな、このゲーム。
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Belly with a rusty razor, shaves belly with a rusty razor, shaves belly with a rusty razor. What shall I do with a drunken sailor? What shall I do with a drunken sailor?
I'm the last passenger. I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
どんどん近づいて、お家に帰ってきた。
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
これ夜中にやってたら僕ちびってたな。
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
ええ、次のステージここなの？木の上いけない？
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Oh. なるほどね。完全に理解した。
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
何これ、キモ。カエルさん。鏡映んない。
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
まあちょっと。風呂ちっちゃ。椅子。
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
ああ。ちゃんと全部の部屋入れるんだ。動いてる。なんです。いいな。秘密基地か。
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
また昔話が始まった。
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
まあ鳥になりそう。
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
いけるのかお前。あ、やっべ、クソリアル。
I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
酔いそう。
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
いける。
The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again. passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
와. 단축 그리고. 네. やばいな、この温度。
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
アメリカが来るまで。
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
バーバー。
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
What is this猫? キモ。
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Perfect clearing. びっくり。緊張る。
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
扉を開けると。
Oh dear!
わあ。バシ。
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
그래. 어찌다っけ. 어찌하라했죠?
Walter, are you there? Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
This night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
오라 아씨.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending. I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
What? Gotcha.黄色いな。リアナやりてえな。
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
その前にじゃあ何もないのか。ちゃんとできてるね、このね。一本道だし。真っ暗で何も見えません。地下続いてるね。
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Pinch.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
振動が始まった。
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can. I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it.
アンセム。遅い。早く進んでくれ。おじいちゃんだからゆっくりしてる。
I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
デレステなんか来たのか。
I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
月が綺麗ですね。これどっち？こっち？さすがにこっちか。こっち行ってみる。
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant. I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What? It's too early, Dad.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though. Aw.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving.
Are you done yet?
Does it sound like I'm done? Nothing quite like being outside. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Oop. A little more gas in the tank, I guess. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad! Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
これで半分くらいか。
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
迷子ないんやけど。戻るのかな。いや、戻らんよな。
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot. can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. Reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw. It sure made him happy. Silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
Oh.
Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. What happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Call.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power, but all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you. She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus. My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
何やってんのこれ。
なんとかっていうゲームです。なんだっけ、ピンチ系。フリープレイのやつ。
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush. I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room, until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room, except Louis.
"お願いたけし部屋から出てきて。
この物語に出てくるやつ、ニートばっかり。
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
あんまり配信向けのゲームではなかったですね。まあいいや、楽しい。
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Louis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Louis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
消えちゃう。バグらせてしまった。ああ。これ何体やればいいの？
首落としたやつ何回も切断するな、わら。
切断中だからよ。ういー。ああ。いつまでやればいいのこれ。バグったせいで進まなくなった。あ、でもだんだんなんか、あ、
ずっと見てたらおかしくなりそう。
そういうことね。完全に理解した。
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focus. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
頭おかしなりで。
It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
テクニックに自分の名前つけたがるスマブラーかな。
radiant rainbows.
シャーキの首切断する技を身につけた。
He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it.
何芸なんだ。
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
やべえな、この。
ナロー系ルイス。
異世界転生したかったのか、ルイスは。
Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
イモいそう。
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
自分で自分を殺すのか。すごいな、このゲーム。
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. Holding his crown.
薄そう。あ。
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
エッチは神。
But I never thought I'd go back to it.
めっちゃクソ。
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Oh, whatever.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
すごいな、このゲーム。 やー、話への引き込み方がうまいゲームでしたね。配信向きではなかったけど、小説読んでるみたいだった。
雰囲気はすごかった。
すげえ雰囲気で、一人でやるゲームだな、これは。配信向きではなかった、さすがに。結構、のめり込む。話の書き方がうまいよな。はーん。終わった。定価いくらだっけ ?2000 円、3000円くらい。今フリープレイ。
酒ゲー。
酒だなぁ。すごいな、あの鮭のシーン。実体験してるみたいだった。単純作業やりまくって。いやー。どんなゲームかも全く知らずにやってみたけど、結構良かったですね。というわけで次はこれをやるか。
アンセムやれ。
カス。
結局バグ治ったん。
治りません。
返金してもらえるレベルでは。
マジ返金してほしいんだよな、あれ。
始まってるんじゃないの。
めちゃくちゃツイッター見てた。しまっ
シャニマスやれ。
あれー。ストラ20にした数を上げてたと思うんだけどな。 ああ、うんちうんち、やるか。あっちゃ、あっちゃ、あっちゃ。
角待ちされてそう。
クリアリングはバッチリなので。なんだっけ、脱出ゲームだったっけな。パズル。シューン。とりあえずできそうなんですね。簡単やな、このゲームな。完全に理解したわ。ちょいー。パズルゲー。むつんと苦手そう。感度がうんこ。
余裕。
標準精度。こんな感じ。おー、いいね。こんなんって適当にやってればできそうなもんだけど。ガチャ。で、なんか開いて、さすがにもうこんなかない。さっきのはどこと繋がってんだ。2階とかあるんだ、これ。ボタンは走るのと一発だけか。まだこれ、こっちまだ上は繋がないってことなのかな。完全に理解した。A と裏が開くとは。ピューン、チューン。 チュートリアルもクソもないんだな。ガチャ。何これ。え？ん？
脱出ゲーはホラー要素欲しくなる。
これはなんか、どっかで、同じような地図が書いてある。すげえ書いてあるんかな。また後で来ますよ、的な。ああ、こういうの見るとマジでバグらせたくなる。ここさっきのとこじゃん。飛び降れないんだけど。めんどくさい移動。これさっきのこれ繋がってるでしょ。で、移動めんどくさいな、このゲームな。で、あそこまで戻らないとダメ？結構近かった。チューン。ガチャ。おはようにゃー。
うわ。
は？前川見。サクサクサク。うんうん。は？目が痛くなりそう。あ、これも後で、当てずっぽうやるこれ。何通りあるんだこんな。ガチャ。これ二度とやりません、このゲーム。というわけでね、Apex Legends の方をやっていきたいと思います。
ほら。
いや、クソだわ、あのゲーム。
逃げんな。
というわけで、Apex Legends をやります。フィンチ家が神ゲーだっただけにちょっとですね。何これ。日本時間、よかったら来年して
おでんするから待って。
ああ。ああ。締め切り近いから早くしてねってことか。うわ。赤黒。ああ、それなら青黒の方がいいな。これスピファでは。微妙。一旦配信切るか。